The 6-week session ended in tense fashion over the last couple of days, as in the House, both sides were sniping at one another, seemingly sick of seeing each other and answering and asking questions. Yesterday, Premier Moe, in his final day in the House, accused the NDP of dog whistling and virtue signaling over the past number of weeks.
Mr. Speaker, he's made inflammatory and racially charged statements with respect to dog whistle politics and to legislation that affords rural property owners in this province, Mr. Speaker, the same rights as urban property owners. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition continues to virtue signal, Mr. Speaker, and say he's above the fray, but like all other NDP leaders in this House, he says one thing, Mr. Speaker, and he does another. It's the same old NDP over there.
NDP leader Ryan Miley says that his job is to hold the government to account.
He's so offended by our questioning, one can't help but wonder, did he want the work or did he only want the job? The Deputy Premier shown more interest in accountability, in shining a light on what happened at the GTH. Does he agree with the tactic of avoiding questions and blaming the opposition and resisting accountability, or would he prefer to be part of a government that owns from and learns from its mistakes?
And Miley says he's pleased with the concerns that the NDP raised over the session, including PST on construction labor, vendor-sponsored travel, and the crisis with opioids and crystal meth. The government did introduce some new laws this session, including trespassing laws, allowing small municipalities to beef up their police forces, and Clare's Law, which looks to stop domestic violence before it starts. And also more recently introduced new regulations for semi-truck drivers. We could get a 60s scoop apology in the next number of weeks. Premier Moe hinted at that yesterday. He said he'd like to do that apology as soon as possible. And he says it may not have to wait until the politicians are back in session in March. Adam Hunter, CBC News, Regina.